Hello, friends. This is Adam from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to be looking at Genesis 32 and 33. And I'm going to give you 5 things to think about. First of all, one thing I don't remember from the stories before is that Jacob meets angels again after his encounter with Laban, and he meets angels again. And God is really seeking Jacob out and upholding his side of the covenant, which I think is pretty awesome. 2, we see that Jacob doesn't really rely completely on God for protection. He's kind of got this scheme still happening. He's going to put some of his servants this way and cows that way and family this way and just kind of try to hope to distract Esau, and maybe some of them will make it. So that's interesting. Number 3, the world's greatest wrestling match happens. Jacob wrestles with a man until daybreak. God changes his name from Jacob to Israel, which is very important, of course, where we get the name from. His descendants become the nation of Israel. Number 4, despite an intimidating 400 men presence, really Esau is just coming to hug his brother, love on his brother, and despite all of Jacob's deceit, maybe the bribes worked, I don't know, but it just kind of just seems to turn out that God's got protection happening for Jacob. And number 5, God sets up this new life for Jacob, or Israel as he's now called. Let's check it out together. Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." Therefore he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, to the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall you speak to my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob says thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now. I have had oxen and asses and flocks and men servants and women servants. I have sent to tell my lord that I might find grace in thy sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him." And Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks, and the herds, and the camels, into 2 bands. And he said, "If Esau come on the one company and smite it, then the other company shall escape." And Jacob said, "God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which says to me, Return into thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all thy mercies, and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over the Jordan, and now am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. And I fear him, lest he come with to smite me, and the mother with the children. And thou saidst, I will surely do good to thee, and make thee as thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude." And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milch camels, with all their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of the servants, every drove by themselves. And he said to him, "Servants, pass over before me, and put a space betwixt thee, drove and drove." And he commanded the foremost, saying, "When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, Whose art thou? And whither goest thou? And whose are these before thee? Thou shalt say, They be thy servant Jacob's, and it is a present sent to my lord Esau. And behold, also he is behind us." And he commandeth, and he the second and the third, and all that followed the drove, saying, "On this manner shall ye speak to Esau. And when you find him, and moreover say, Behold, the servant Jacob is behind us, for he saith, I will appease him with presents that goeth before me. And afterward I will see his face, peradventure he will accept me." So went the present over before him, and he lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them, and he sent them over the brook, and sent over all he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. I guess I always thought that he touched the hollow of the thigh and that ended it. But he touched the hollow of the thigh and they kept wrestling. Ouch. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince thou hast the power of God, and with him, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou askest my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose up against him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel do not eat the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. Dun, dun, dun. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the 2 handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over the ground before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near his brother. And Esau ran out to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And they wept. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw that women and children, and said, who are these with thee? And he said, the children which God has graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, what meanest thou with all this drove I met? And he said, these are to find grace in thy sight, my lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep thou what thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, nay, I pray thee, if thou have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand, for therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, let us journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said to him, my Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds are young with me. And if man should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly according to the cattle that goeth with me. And the children, they will be able to endure until I come until my Lord unto Seir. And Esau said, let me now leave with thee some folk that are with me. And he said, what needeth it? Let me find grace in thy sight, thy Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, and built him a house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. And Jacob came to Shalem, the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. And he came to Paddan Aram, and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent, in the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there a stone, and called it El Elohi Israel. So things are right again between the 2 brothers, though it is now Jacob/Israel's story, and will never be Esau's story. So we'll continue to see the ongoing saga of the children that God has chosen to make his story known through. I hope you have a great week. Catch you later.